Okay. So, attractive honest signals. What are honest signals? It's things that you are expressing in terms of evolutionary psychology. It's the way that you're expressing yourself that shows that you are attractive. And this is what women have found attractive through years and years of research and finding out from all different cultures what all women find singularly attractive from men. So here's the list. And again, a lot of this stuff is going to seem common, but first one, loving. She wants you to care. If you show that you care about what she's talking about, what she's expressing, what she likes, what she dislikes, and you genuinely care, don't like make it fake and be like, like don't do all that shit, but genuinely care. One of the biggest things in the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, he talks about how if you want to make friends, the best way is that when they're talking, be genuinely interested. Ask questions about it. Try to find out deeper. Become curious about what they like and dislike and all this different stuff. As soon as you do that, you're showing that you're interested in them. They're going to like you. Again, the liking, disliking, cognitive bias. Okay? So that's the first one. Deep, exciting personality. Maybe I should put...
I thought you misspoke deep for a second.
Deep, exciting personality. So, all this really means is showing enthusiasm when you're meeting the girl. So many times I see guys like going up and they're like, hey, what's up? It's like very nonchalant. If you're not enthusiastic about meeting someone, what does that subcommunicate? You don't care about them. Are they going to want to meet you? No. So being enthusiastic in the beginning, you don't have to be like hype and all this stuff, but showing it with your eyes. Like if I come up to you and I'm like, hey, what's up? Versus if I come up to you, I'm like, hey. You see the difference? One is more enthusiastic, one is more direct. It's I'm interested, I'm intrigued. Versus the other one, which is like, oh, I don't really care about this right now. So having enthusiasm. So with this comes what emotions girls feel. So girls, their emotions are on a wave all the time. So they could feel positive 1 second, negative the next. It's all dependent on their environment, what's happening, all this different stuff. So if you go up enthusiastically, there's a trigger in her mind that says, I like this guy. Because again, based off the Freudian principle that humans move towards pleasure and move away from pain, if you can provide them with pleasurable sensations from the moment you meet them, they're going to be interested. And going back to evolutionary psychology, if you're enthusiastic, that means you're better at influencing. That means you're better at socializing with people, which again raises her what? Survival and reproduction value. Right? So again, there's that trigger in her mind that goes, oh shit. Again, she's not thinking this consciously. She's not going like, oh, in terms of evolutionary psychology, he's attractive. Okay. It's just biologically. Okay? Cool. Healthy. Do you have to be jacked? No. What this really means is going back to hygiene, stylish. It shows it's triggers for you take care of yourself. If you are going out and you're like 800 pounds and you're wearing the horrible clothes, you're not groomed at all of that stuff triggers, this guy cannot take care of me emotionally and physically. So being healthy, you should be working on your health. You should be going to the gym. You should be eating right, all that different stuff. Because not only will it boost your emotions, there's just too many positive effects from it. But also being stylish, hygienic, it's very important because feeds into that evolutionary trigger. Okay. And again, if you can't take care of her, or if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of her. Kind. This increases her chances of gaining resources, as kind people have charm. So again, going back to tribe mentality, if you're a man who's kind, you're more charming, people like you, the liking, disliking cognitive tendency, which means that you're most likely going to create a lot of alliances, have a lot more resources available to you, which means that if she's with you, she's going to also have those resources as well, right? Intelligence. Do you have to be super smart and know math and all that shit? No. But if you know about certain stuff that most people don't know, like general knowledge, one thing that I've learned from Vadim, from Honest Signals, is he knows stuff that I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? Like, he knows about like healing rocks, or he knows about history, he knows about philosophy. All these different things, if you just know about it, not only will you be able to talk to her more because you never run out of things to say, but also it shows that this guy has intelligence. And intelligence increases your charisma. So that's another evolutionary trigger. Sociable. What this really means is being relatable to her. If you're relatable, it builds comfort. So when we talking about family, why it's so good, it's relatable. And it builds a lot of comfort within her. And it's familiar. So there's a familiarity bias that once we feel something familiar, we go towards it. Okay? The last thing is easygoing. You don't take yourself or other people too seriously. This allows her, gives her permission, because again, you are the masculine force, and the feminine follows the masculine. This allows her and gives her permission to be easygoing. She can let loose and be fun and free, which again spikes comfort. Okay. These are known as the universal attractive traits. If you want to know more about it, there's a book called, oh fuck, I just gave myself a paper cut. There's a book called The Evolution of Desire by Dr. David Buss. And he's a world-renowned evolutionary psychologist. This is a good quote. You might want to write this down. There is no logic in attraction. Successful attraction tactics simply fulfill a woman's desires. Successful attraction tactics simply fulfill a woman's desires. If you can fulfill her desires, she's going to be attracted to you. Still recording? All good? There's a red dot there?
Yep.
Okay. So the best way I like to think of this is the movie 50 Shades of Grey. I fucking love this movie because it has zero plot. Zero, like I've tried so fucking hard to find the plot, like what's actually going on, where's the beginning, where's the middle, where's the end, like where's the climax. It's nothing. It's got no plot. What it has is pure emotion. That's why women love it so much. So, first thing is he's a man with resources. So he's a millionaire, all this different stuff. So like I said, good looks help. Having money help, all this different stuff. But it doesn't help as much as you like it. It's probably like 5%. One of the biggest things, one of the biggest cognitive biases that you have to build in yourself as a man curiosity bias. When people are curious, they want to know more. And they'll do anything to get to know more. So like something that I notice myself doing is I'll be talking to a girl, and because I'm so ADD, like I'll be telling a story and I'll just like go off to the side. And she'll always come back and be like, so what happened? Like, because they're always curious. The curiosity bias is one of the strongest biases that takes over our brain. Because when we're curious, it allows us to achieve more. It allows us to learn more. It allows us to experience it more. So it's wired in our human behavior. So emotional investment from the guy. From 50 Shades, or whatever his name, Christian Grey, he shows emotional investment in her in the beginning. He shows all the universally attractive traits that we talked about. And to her, she's like, oh, this guy's attractive, right? There is an emotional side leaving him with vulnerable secrets. So this is when like the drama of the fucking movie comes in and she's like, no, don't touch my scars and all this different stuff. There's this like vulnerability to him. Although he's extremely masculine, although he's extremely attractive, he's quote unquote alpha, there's also this little side of him that's vulnerable. It's like this little kid. And that's what you have to be. We're going to learn about like statements of vulnerability, which is like one of the best ways to actually get yourself in a free-flowing state where you're just universally attractive. You have all those attractive traits working for you. And the way you do that is through vulnerability. Okay? So he has vulnerable side. Then he shares those secrets, which again shows emotional investment in her. He fulfills sexual desire for her. He's masculine. He fucks her brains out, all that different stuff. And at the same time, which is really important because all this is like emotional investment, being masculine, vulnerable, he also takes from her. He's sometimes negative. He has his downsides, right? But because of that, it's like the roller coaster. Roller coaster goes up, down, okay? Should you be playing with girls' emotions and fucking their emotional health? No. But once you become an attractive man, you just start doing this stuff naturally as who you are, okay? So, and I see a lot of guys who go out and they're just like the dancing monkey. They're too positive. Or a lot of guys who are just like, no, fuck off, dog, and they're doing all these like weird pickup tactics and they're too negative. You need to have a balance of both. It's the yin and the yang. Okay. So the reason why the wide range of emotions is so important is because it makes each emotion stronger. And this is something called the contrast bias. There's a contrast between the emotions. So if you're talking to a girl and you're just positive the entire time, you're laughing, the value of your laugh goes down because it becomes too normal. There's a good quote, the sun is better after it has rained. And the reason why is what? Because of the contrast. You see the rain, and then you're like, fuck, I wish there was the sun, and the sun comes up, and it's got that much more value versus having the sun all the time. You always hear people saying like, oh, fuck, I hate winter so much, I wish it was gone. And then once summer comes, they're like, oh, summer, fuck, it's so hot. Because there's no contrast between those two. It doesn't make them valuable. So as a man, you're gonna have to use contrast bias and allow the girl to experience your emotions, all your emotions, authentically. And it's gonna show when you're doing it. And when you're being inauthentic, you're either being too negative or you're being too positive. And sometimes I catch myself doing this. Sometimes I'm talking to a girl and I realize like I'm laughing too much. I'm like, wait, why am I laughing? That wasn't even funny. And then once you're authentic and you're talking to her and you're calm, and then once you do laugh, that laugh becomes valuable. Cool? Okay. Let's go into social selection and competition. Men engage in social competition to gain access to higher status, to gain sexual access to higher quality women with better genes. So these are guys like Dan Bilzerian. In terms of his social status, it's very, very high. So he's gonna get the hottest girls. Are they the most quality? Probably not. in terms of it, but that's relative to what you want, right? And the reason why for this is women who preferred men with higher status meant that they had a higher chance of survival, they reproduced, and that was hardwired in the brain to continuously go after men who have higher status. Okay? Now, do you have to have a lot of money? Do you have to have an Instagram account with 20 million followers? No. What you do have to have is masculine traits. And we'll go over this when we get into the masculine section. When you're masculine, the most masculine men have the highest status in society. So right away that triggers in her brain, this guy is very high status, and she actually starts chasing you. You don't have to do anything. Anytime that you notice you're chasing the girl, she's probably thinking that you're down here. A lot of times, like, I'm gonna teach you the step-by-step process, but a lot of times I don't even follow it because I'm just like laid back and the girl's coming to me. Because I can provide her with that masculinity that shows the higher status traits, okay? So, confidence and ambition. Why is confidence and ambition so important? Confidence is a cue of status. So, it shows a man's miscalculation on his value and status in society. And the reason why this is so attractive is because it's showing that you hold yourself to a higher standard and you're following those values. So anytime you show confidence in who you are, you express something that may be very like, to most people it may be a secret, but you express it with full confidence, you don't give a fuck. And you're carefree, you're not thinking you're taking yourself too seriously, you dance on the dance floor the way you want to, all this different shit. That shows confidence in yourself and your ability, which means that you're very, very high status because you're miscalculating where you're at right now. And the future trajectory is good for that. So we'll talk about that in a bit. So ambition and passion. It's a very attractive quality because, yeah, it shows a good future trajectory that you will be resourceful to women. So I'll show it like this. But ambition, it's very important to know this stuff because then you know what a woman truly wants and you can provide that to her. Ambition, if you were to look at it on like a graph, if you have high ambition, that means that you're gonna go after the shit that you want in life, which means that you're gonna gain more resources over time. So it's like you may start off here, but over time, after a few years, you have this many amount of resources. Which means that if she's with you until you're over here, she's gonna also have that as well. So how do you show ambition and passion? Does anyone know anyways?
The way you talk, Lesar, just tone of voice, basically, the way you sit, the way you project yourself.
Good, good. Anyone else want to guess?
Just tell her. Just tell her your story. Tell her your ambition itself.
Good, good.
The fact that you don't have time to text her back or text anybody back.
Yeah, that's a good one as well. You value your time.
Yeah.
You don't have as much time. Good. So one way to show like confidence, ambition, and passion is deliberately talk about your confidence in a non-serious way. So I'll literally, like, sometimes I'll be talking to the girl, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so fucking sexy. This is ridiculous. How are you still talking to me? This is just too much for you. This is too much. But again, I'm not serious. I'm not being like, oh God, I'm actually really sexy. Like, you have to. Even if I say that, it would still be non-serious. Like, you see, it's like you can't take it in a serious way. And this shows you're playful, but at the same time, that trigger in her mind goes like, he's actually confident. Right? So you're deliberately saying it in a non-serious, playful way, which allows her to be playful, which allows her to open up. But also, in her mind, she's like, this guy knows his value. Right? When you're serious about your confidence, by the way, it shows arrogance. It shows you're arrogant. When you're non-serious about your confidence, it shows playfulness. Okay? This one's a really good one. So, like we talked about dreams, deliberately talking about your dreams. And one thing I do, like, I don't want to get into techniques, but one thing I notice myself doing is like when I'm talking about my future my vision, what I want to create, I'm very, very passionate about it because I'm serious. And I'll be talking to the girl, and I'll be like, you know, like, I don't know how I got into this, but like, I just fucking love it. I want to create like 1 million men to become their most masculine, purposeful, attractive selves, and I will never stop until I get there. And I've seen girls when I'm saying this stuff, like they'll literally start biting their eyes, like they start squinting. Biting their eyes? No, that didn't make sense. Biting their lips. I love how you guys are like, yeah, biting their eyes. So, where was I at? Yeah, so deliberately talking about your ambitions. And the way that you start that is talking about hers. What are her dreams in life? When you can start with that, then that gives you a cue to talk about yours. Okay? Very simple. And man, you'll like I love doing it because I know now, like I've seen the pattern so much that like when I do it, the girls just like instantly they get wet. Because again, there's a trigger in her mind that says good future trajectory. This is gonna be good. Right? And her showing sexual interest means that she's gonna gain access to me. Right? Okay. So that's pretty much it for the attraction honest signals. Does anyone want to take a break, or do you guys want to get crazy and fucking jump and is your energy low? Do you notice it? Do you want to go higher?
Let's do it.
Yeah? Okay, let's put on some fucking music and go crazy.